Alright guys, what's going on? We've got the 11th war of Season 21 here, and today 4Loki is going to be facing Red X. This is a bit of a mismatch. You can see that our war rating is like 200 points higher than theirs. And it looks like they finished in Platinum 2 last season. But they still did a great job. So let's go ahead and take a look at their defense. And it looks pretty standard. They have like all rank 5 stars or rank 2 6 stars for the most part. You know, normal stuff. They've got Nick Fury on Path 5 in Section 1. They've got Killmonger on Path 9 in Section 1. That's placement that we've seen from like Kenobi before. They've got Mysterio on Encroaching Stun, which is good placement. Taskmaster on Buffet, that's fine. Looks like they've got an Apoco on Path 5 in Section 2. And then they've got Thing on that really annoying kinetic transference and powerful from afar node. And then they've got a Dragon Man boss, so that's pretty interesting. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and join here, select our team, and we're gonna be bringing in Deadpool, Omega, and Dr. Doom, and we're gonna be starting off on Path 1 in Section 1. So this is not gonna be a great war for me. We're gonna be starting here on Arc Overload and Vigorous Assault. So this can be kind of tricky. I dueled a Sorcerer Supreme just to make sure that I could evade all of her special attacks. I do think that this is pretty okay placement, but with Dr. Doom nullifying the regeneration, the node is pretty much never going to come into play. You can see here that I started with a Power Start 1 boost, and that was just in case like she was being really aggressive so I could nullify the regeneration right off the bat. But yeah, we're just going to make sure that we're staggering her regen from the node. And we're going to parry as much as we can too, to try to build up destructible charges. So just making sure that we get our staggers off. And yeah, special 3 to get the rotation started a little bit. I did notice in duels, you can't really do the full Doom rotation on her because she doesn't gain enough power from your hits to push her to a special 3, so I'm not going to worry about doing the actual rotation here. All I'm going to worry about is just making sure that I make it out of the fight. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get another stagger going, and you can kind of see in this fight that my heavies are a little bit delayed. I'm not sure if I was just nervous about the fight or what, but it's gonna stay like that. I'm gonna use Doom for my first 3 fights in this war, so there we go. You can see we're still at a full yellow bar. She's down at 22%. Gonna launch our special 3. Does pretty good damage. And yeah, the fight's over, so good fight there. I'm gonna go ahead and move on. This is going to be Masochism and Indomitable, so this is gonna be Phoenix. And I'm assuming this is just a diversity placement. There's nothing super hard about this fight. So we're just going to start off with a parry to trigger the Masochism, that way my shock will stick and I can stagger her. So yeah, especially with class advantage, this is going to go by really quickly. I am going to push her to a special 2. I'm not really worried about it in this fight. All it does is help her regeneration at the very end of the fight. So here I was kind of trying to get her to hold power, so I was just blocking. And you'll see that she ends up throwing the special 2 anyway, which is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and use my special 3 here. And with class advantage, it's just going to do a ton of damage. And at this point, the fight is basically over. So we're going to go into medium, medium, light, 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 and then I'm going to go ahead and use my special 2. And you can see that she got her regeneration right then, which again is fine. The Incinerate just did a ton of damage, and yeah, fight's over. So, now we're going to move along to our next fight, which I was not worried about at all. And this is going to be the Strike Counter Fury node. And I'm taking it with the link up with Power Focus 1 to try to keep Hyperion's power low. And you're going to see that I'm going to make a pretty big error in this fight. Well, I'm going to make a couple of errors in this fight. So the first thing is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start my combo like this. I had kind of planned this. And all I'm fixated on with these strike counter nodes, what I generally do is I kind of ignore the node for the most part. And I just focus on the fight. And that goes for the strike counter node in section 2 as well. So you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and throw my special 3. What I should have been doing during this fight is throwing special 1s and just cycling those. But I didn't do that. That was a huge mistake because I'm going to let him get a ton of furies. So here I'm going to go ahead and throw another special 1. And I'm just trying to stagger his power gains. So here we go, another special 1, and I'm going to go in, and it's right here. I'm going to go in, and I'm going to hold my heavy for a split second too long, and I'm going to show it here, and right there I release my heavy while he's still stunned, but it whiffs, and he throws his special 1, and just absolutely lights me up, and you can see I go from 100% down to nothing. So that was really unfortunate. I went ahead and healed up and revived and stuff. I'm going to throw another potion into Dr. Doom here. It's really unfortunate. This is my 3rd death of the season. I've been having a pretty good season so far. One of my deaths, one of my 2 prior deaths to this one was a bug, so I didn't feel as bad about that one. But this is my first death, or my 2nd death that's just totally on me, where I just made a huge mistake. And those never feel good, so I'm going to go in here. I'm going to do the same thing again, just stagger the power gain. That gives me his power gain since my Dr. Doom is Sig 200. And it'll push me up to a special 3 really fast. So this was kind of my intention going in. And I don't know why I held my heavy for so long that first time. I have no clue why I did that. It was definitely a mistake. So here I'm just going to go ahead and use another special. And the fight's over, so very unfortunate. So the rest of this war I was just kind of in a bad mood. I'm going to have 2 more fights. The first one is going to be Korg on node 23. So I've got Suicides back on. I'm going to take this one with Omega Red. And yeah. You'll be able to tell in this fight that I'm just playing really scared. I'm really nervous. One of my worst fears since I've joined 4 Loki is dying 2 times in one war. Knock on wood, it hasn't happened yet. But I think that I would just be really upset if it did. So here we go. Deck's out of the last part of it. And I'm going to use my special 2s in this fight. I usually save for my special 3s, but I think I just wasn't fully mentally in this fight because of the death from earlier. I felt really bad about it. It was the first death in the Alliance, so obviously the first death in our battle group, and it just sucks to set that tone for everybody else. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop another special 2 here while his rock shield is down, and the fight's over. So no big deal there. Pretty used to that fight. And then I'm going to be going to Path 5 in Section 2, and this is going to be a Mole Man. And this is on ebb and flow intercept. So basically I'm just going to ignore the node and just out damage it. That's the plan going in here. So yeah, I have to be careful. I know that he can shrug stuns off, especially if I don't have 10 spores on him. So my plan here is to just build up spores and then lock them in with the heavy attack. But you can see he's kind of getting a little bit passive. And so all my spores keep falling off, which is really annoying. And then he'll throw the special one, which takes forever and pushes me back really far. So you can see I went from like 20 spores in the beginning of the fight to 0. And there he purified my stun, which again is fine, but you can see how little damage my special 2 just did. It's not a huge deal, you can still out damage this node, but it just makes it take a little bit longer, and anytime that a fight takes longer, it just gets a little bit riskier. So I wasn't concerned at any point during this fight. Right there I tried to back out of it because I wanted to punish to keep spores up, but it didn't work out. So here I'm going to go ahead and drop my special 2 again, taking recoil damage and a bunch of block damage. And I prefer to push him to the special 2 if I can. So we're going to go ahead and bait out the special 2. And as soon as he starts like crawling up out of the ground, that's when you're safe to go back in and punish. So I'm gonna go ahead and push him to a special 2 again. I don't want to trigger the indestructible. Lock in my spores, do another special 2, and this should pretty much finish the fight. So yeah, crappy war for me. I had 5 fights, died to 1 of them, an easy one. But yeah, so the war isn't quite over yet. I'm not going to show the final score, but you can see that both teams finished, 150 kills for each of us. And we did end up winning the war, which locks in Masters for us, so that's nice. We will definitely be finishing there, so yeah. Anyway, 1 war left for the season. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.